Allons-y,
Allons-y indeed.
mes amis.
I don't know what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
That's because we're speaking French. You're the most hated language in the Jason Murphy universe.
The League
this
of
is true.
Extremely Ordinary Monsieurs. Welcome to the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen, the Leog, and we're here for another week of mayhem. And this week I am stressing the word gentlemen because we have kicked the ladies to the curb. It's all us guys. Right, guys?
Yep, smells like a jockstrap in here again.
You didn't mean literally kick them.
Well,
I think Allison was giving me, I'm going to stab you. That was what her eyes were saying.
that's probably why that was. I mean,
Okay.
when I kick people to the curb, I like to take it a little literally, too. It makes it more fun.
Oh, I thought you said curb them. I have some bad news.
Yeah.
No, when they're dead, they're hookers.
Well, now that we got rid of them, we can actually get to the hardcore comic book discussions everybody wants.
Right.
However,
We can finally talk about geeky stuff.
exactly. Instead of all this
Finally
accommodating-
start pounding those last few nails in on this coffin that we call the podcast of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen.
Now I'm your host, Leon, and to my left, is it left?
I'm
Here's
your
my
left.
other left. Yeah, my other left.
Jason.
Beau.
Grant.
And Cyrus.
Good old Cyrus, my co-pilot. How you doing over there, buddy?
Handling the caboose.
All right. Handling Grant's caboose, not mine.
Yeah, now that all the girls are gone, I think you should refrain from talking.
Yeah, after you curbed Kayla, I think your caboose is going to be handled once you do 5 to 10.
I'm just happy I don't have to wear pants anymore.
Oh, God.
In fact, I'm going to take those off now.
No.
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 We have a strictly enforced pants rule.
I mean, granted, none of us have magnifying glasses, so we won't really be disturbed or anything.
Why would you be staring down there in the first place?
No, it's just like an extended Peter Griffin nude scene. It's all pretty much eclipsed by whatever else is distended.
I didn't say I was going to take my underoos off. Just my pants.
Well, that's true. You haven't done that in a month, so
I
why
see
should you
you
start now?
I see you like Aquaman more than you've been letting on.
Hey, they were on sale.
So as everybody's been bugging us, we finally have come to the long-awaited and much-asked-for Guilty Pleasure episode. And I can't wait to really get into this.
Horrible rock
What?
bastard.
Whoa.
What?
No,
Wait a second. I have to do a little work on Leon for a second. Hold on. You were saying?
Is
that a dildo? It's a sonic dildo.
all right.
It has been used as such.
Oh, God.
Now, for weeks I've been saying, hey, you guys want to do a Doctor Who episode? Especially Kristen. She's been wanting to do this. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's get it done. You guys ready? Everybody ready? Say yeah.
Yeah.
Say ready? Say yeah.
Yeah.
And then
It's
nobody
not
was ever ready.
It's not as effective when you've pared the cast down.
I thought it was a Dr. Feelgood episode, and this was going to be our Motley Crue themed podcast.
Well, I just like how I kept saying, like, whenever you guys are ready, and I hope you're ready soon. And then people say, like, what's taking so long? And Beau says, it's Leon's fault. He won't let us do it.
Exactly.
You weren't done watching the episodes. Be honest.
I finished, and when I finished, I was like, hey, I'm all ready. Let's do that.
I finished like a week ago.
No.
Right.
We're going to do guilty pleasures and pleasures of being guilty, and that is what shall be done.
So we put it off.
And so when I saw that bus coming,
Allow Beau to finish. And so now we can do this episode and make him and Kristen happy, and she's not here.
See, I had all prepared for the porn episode we've been talking about. So, I mean, I got the stack.
You know what, dude? I'm able to stop in midstream and do that.
Okay, because I didn't want to tell all the girls to go home.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, is sit around talking about porno with you guys. That's what I want to do.
I'll tell Jesse James to go home.
Jesse James.
What's that guy
Jesse
doing
James?
I don't know.
The
I
porn
hope
star?
when he's finished, they bleach wherever he's been.
No. Enough teasing the audience. We will do the Doctor Who episode. This is that one.
Okay, but not yet.
But not yet.
Not yet.
Are you kidding? It's me. You don't never just jump right into things.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means.
New comic book day. And Rex Manning Day. But anyway.
I know.
Is it Rex Manning Day?
It's Rex Manning
Rex
Day.
Manning Day.
What does that mean?
Every Wednesday
Dude.
is Rex Manning Day.
Magnus Robot Fighter?
Yeah,
No.
I've heard
No,
of it.
not that.
Empire Records.
What?
It's a kind of a quintessential 90s movie. Never mind.
You
Moving on.
caught him off guard because you were talking about comics, so he was like he figured it was a comic. You know
Yeah,
what?
Let's talk about
The
comics.
quintessential 90s thing, right over Leon's head.
Yes,
Pretty
much.
much.
Maybe instead of talking about comics that no one reads, we should talk
Nah,
about
I
comics
slept
that
through the 90s
lots
like
of people are
Lestat.
reading.
Okay, Well, okay, bring up comics.
What's first?
Gee,
we got to start off with news.
What has happened this week?
We got no girls here for now. I'm sure they're going to bust down the doors later, but for right now, we got no girls. We can talk about comics, which is what our audience wants and what I want for a change.
I'm going to say it.
The biggest news of this week, of today, Wednesday, as we record this.
The black elephant in the room.
Yes.
As it were.
and not me this time. It is the final issue.
Oh, you're not that fat.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Thank you, the white elephant in the room.
The final issue of Blackest Night came out today.
Yes.
Who's read it?
I have. I specifically.
I haven't, but go ahead.
Made precautions to do so.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
Hell,
Spoilers.
I guess some of us care a little bit more about
Spoilers
podcasts than others.
lie herein.
Yes.
From this point on.
Here
Right?
there be spoilers.
Well, now this isn't the Blackest Night show because we're going to have to do a wrap up,
Okay.
a full-on wrap up.
But surely we're going to talk about.
But we have to talk about it.
issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this individual issue then.
Yes.
Okay. The final issue.
It was like a great big Skittles commercial.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
It was awesome.
With all the colors.
What?
Now, see,
It was like a giant Full House episode.
It was. They killed Necron, and his final words were "Taste the rainbow."
The united colors of against Necron.
And then the agencies of Benetton came out and gave everybody free clothes. It was awesome.
I do think it's funny because I was like, man, I got to go get this and read it before the show. And Jason tweets, it's kind of meh.
Really? So they didn't. He wasn't taken out by a gay pride parade.
Now, I read it right before coming over here, and I actually thought it was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I just thought it was, as I said in the tweet, full of Sound of Fury, signifying something. It was all lots of Jeff Johns, metaphysical, quasi-magical mumbo jumbo, like a 7th grade bad D&D game where the Dungeon Master's trying to do some crazy magic Grant Morrison stuff. And there was all of that, and then there was, as I said out on the patio, it was very much like this episode of The Simpsons where they're watching a movie and the King of England said, "Thank you, Zorro. I now declare you the King of England." And it was just like, yay, we're all happy and big parade and everything. And it was just, no, it didn't do it for me. I really thought it started going off the rails in issue 7. But, it was just all sorts of craziness going on. And, yeah.
I was still a true believer until this episode, but man, I thought it was so corny. Issue.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. This issue was just so cheesy
Had that
that
lost
they're like,
nightmare again, huh, Grant?
yeah, it was like, together with all of you guys united, we believed in ourselves, and love and unity brought us together to defeat evil. Hooray! And then they all
Exactly.
jump up in the air, freeze frame, and it was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
The end.
Or I was imagining all the lanterns standing around looking at the sky laughing like an old episode of He-Man. How they always faded out into laughter.
Or any given television show in the 80s
Well, pretty much.
ends with Stephen J. Cannell presents and somebody going, "Sit, Ubu, sit."
So basically, the idea that some things worked out bother you guys.
They had to wax on about like the moral message about the whole thing. It just felt cheesy to me.
Look, I'm sorry, but you don't have a huge epic like that and do some waxing towards the end. It's like, hey, we're finally wrapping this thing up.
Well, we could have drawn our own conclusions as we were through the rest of the series about like what it was that helped bring everyone together and conquer Necron, but they heavy-handedly just told us what it was, and
It was like
See, I disagree
Sledgehammer.
completely. I think it was filled with much more action and kind of big reveals and great big giant guys fighting each other and great big monsters fighting each other than it had to do with any like, so what does this all mean? Let us sit and discuss and wax philosophically about it. There was a little bit in this issue, and to be fair, I just read this like a couple hours ago. It's just sinking in, so I liked it. Unfortunately, it was almost a relief because it was like they finally got to the point that everybody knew was coming, which is like, okay, a bunch of DC characters that were dead are now now alive.
I mean, I felt all along the series is all about how do we bring back Aquaman and the Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
And that was so much of it. But what you guys are saying about the whole, them talking about the philosophy of it, and then we all work together. I swear, I only read it a couple hours ago, but that was like maybe like 2 halves of 2 pages where they did that. And like Beau said, most of it was action, a lot of fighting, running around.
I think I was just rolling my eyes with every single word that I had to go back and keep reading it.
Yes.
And reading it. So.
Grant, you're a kid of the 90s. You roll your eyes at everything. I mean, you're all about. See, there you go.
Whatever.
You're all about looking at things ironically and being cynical. After last week of bitching about how cynical DC Comics have gotten with killing people just to try to stay edgy, I didn't mind this at all. I was like, okay, finally we're getting back to what these comics are.
It does have a nice positive tone to it that I appreciated. It's moving away, and especially with the lead-in to Brightest Day, which is going to follow up this series. It seems like there's going to be a lot more of a positive tone in these comics, which
I'm hoping
might
that
be interesting.
I do think there needs to be something in Brightest Day that kind of
That gives Arsenal his arm back?
well, yes.
No, well, you know what?
And-
There's a new issue of like Arsenal Reborn.
Yeah, so
it
and
doesn't
they-
look like he's getting his arm back.
Oh
anytime
no,
soon.
yeah, they've already decided to like, hey, let's make him a drug addict again.
I know!
Awesome, that's original.
So
I guess
that
he's got to shoot up in his good arm.
Yeah,
we got that
Oh, man.
contrasted against. I'll take Brightest Day over that any day.
yeah.
Any Brightest Day.
Well, there's just that one part where Hal Jordan turns to the audience and says, "Well, I think this is the last time we'll see anyone die and be resurrected." And I was just like,
no, okay, I got to give it to you on that
Yeah.
part. That was kind of like.
I haven't read it, obviously, but like Brightest Day sounds like it's just like the last 30 minutes of Return of the King. Why are we going to read a miniseries about that? You know,
No,
it's like, what, it's just all the characters jumping up and down on Hal Jordan's bed and hugging each other?
I'm sure it's all about setting up. Okay, this is the new universe, and this is the state of the universe now, and these are the new rules. I mean, to me, what probably bothers me the most about Brightest Day is that what's coming up is just so parallels the heroic age at Marvel.
Yep.
It's like so much of this. Okay, we were in the Dark Reign and the Blackest Night, and now we're coming to the heroic Brightest Day. It's like, wow, you guys really the same thing from both companies?
Are they
Nothing will
really
ever go wrong again.
The ending of Blackest Night really struck me like the ending of The Fifth Element. It's like, and the fifth element is love.
Yeah, but to be fair, the
Stop
Fifth
that,
Element was
because I hate
camp.
that ending too, and this was not that.
That was camp. This is different.
No.
I mean, you didn't read it. You can. I read the first
fuck up,
7
Cyrus.
issues.
You didn't read
I read
it.
the first
He's
7
got you there.
issues. Don't even start with me, young man.
Don't
It's not
even
the
start
same
with
thing
me.
at all.
Didn't read it, talking about things you don't know about. Starting to
I
sound
know
like Harris.
about.
Now, okay. Now, really, you guys
Don't question
Did
me.
no one else cheer at the point where the Orange Lantern bust the shit out of Lex Luthor in the back of the head?
I found it amusing.
I laughed my ass off. I had to put the comic down and laugh about that.
Really?
No one, huh?
Want to go to a Gallagher concert?
Apparently, I'm incompetent and I should just go leave because I can't discuss something. I've only read 90% of it. I've got nothing to say.
Surely the crickets thought it was
Okay.
Didn't you, crickets?
Remember how much shit Ebert got when he walked out of like the first 15 minutes and still reviewed the movie or something like that?
Yeah, but this is far from the first 15 minutes.
No!
It's 90% of it.
No, we're talking about issue 8. Did we not establish that when
Yeah,
we were
issue
coming in?
8.
We're talking about issue 8.
So if
Yeah.
you only read 7, percentage-wise...
So
that's-
suddenly 8 went total camp, is what
Well,
you're
to be
saying.
fair, like if you walked out of Empire Strikes Back after seeing 90% of it, you'd be like, oh, it seems like things are going to work out.
Luke's coming in. He's going to save the day.
I guess Luke's going to save the day. He's a Jedi now.
I bet he takes up piano after this.
I don't think I'd say that. It's not that big of a tonal change from when all the characters are being tortured by the
Yeah,
Empire.
You missed the joke that set it up, but the predictable punchline, I think.
Yeah.
You can guess what happened.
Yeah. I'm just not
For
going.
the most
I'm blacking out my mind for Blackest Night Part 8.
Well, you'll
That
get your
will
chance
not
to
be
read it.
like the Fifth Element.
There's probably like 4 copies here right now that you
I
can
don't
read
know.
before we're done.
It suffers from a lot of the thing that a lot of major crossover quote unquote events suffer from, which is, they have a lot of builds and big reveals, and then blah. There was so much build up. I mean, what can you really do to match up to the build up? Let's talk about Lost.
We've all got event.
Gatefold
Not yet.
poster thing.
We've all got event fatigue, though. I mean, let's
True.
admit that at least. We've got event fatigue.
True.
And it
I mean,
happens.
we got PTSD over
and it
all
happens
this.
in all sorts of things. Like it doesn't. it's like we're big Lost fans, as we'll talk about in a little while. But I'm sure I'm going to reach the end and go, it was all right.
There's going to be tons of people. I mean, really.
No, that'll never happen.
Unless they can end the way The Shield or 6 Feet Under did, there's going to be a lot of people who are going like, I was expecting something else.
Well,
I have menaced myself into believing this will be amazing. So
Awesome.
Whatever.
How could it possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
So what's the next issue?
Russia's not that big of a country. Let's invade it.
Well, moving on to new comics.
You see, Paul Dini is writing a Zatanna book.
So
Yeah, Paul Dini
I think that's
is
awesome.
has the biggest hard on for
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
his hard on for Zatanna is so big he actually married a stage musician in real life.
I think it's really exciting because I love the
Oh, yeah.
DC Magic universe. I love the character Zatanna. I love Paul Dini.
I
and
hate
I
Zatanna.
can hardly wait for this.
the stuff he's
So-
writ for what about the stuff that he did for the animated universe? I
That
mean,
was
he made her
okay,
really
That was
entertaining.
enjoyable.
Okay, here's my
yet
thing about
she
Paul
still says all of her shit backwards. I'm like, that's what you got?
Really?
She cast spells by saying them
Why
backwards?
does that bother
Really?
you?
She looks like that, and that's your bitch about her?
See,
She says
apparently you
stuff
haven't read enough
backwards.
to understand why that happens because it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's-
that's a secret to magic.
No, that's
It's
her
every
focus.
magician has a focus
Yeah.
thing, and that's hers. That's not like anybody could do that and you'd do magic.
Yeah,
It's
chill
not
out,
what the
yeah,
definition is.
from.
As long as she's dressed like that, I don't care if she pronounces her spells like abracadabra. She's fine.
Which brings us back to the porn episode.
Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah.
Nemesis?
Has
I
anybody
didn't
read it
but
yet?
I was interested in what...
I've read this. and-
Okay, so Nemesis, set it up, Grant.
Well, Mark Millar, coming off of Kick-Ass, has decided to take the idea of Batman and turn it backwards with having. What if there was a rich billionaire genius like Batman, but instead he's the world's only supervillain,
Okay, I hate
and he
this
wears all
already.
white.
I'm done.
Um,
I was done with Mark Millar with the end of Kick-Ass. I mean,
Well-
to me, having to wait 2 years for the end and then get it, and it's that, it just made me stop and look at all the Millar
hold up.
books.
You haven't let me tell you how the book is. I mean, you're dismissing it before I can tell you that it's horrible.
Is it really? That's so sad.
I mean, I actually kind of liked the idea of the premise because I liked what he did with Kick-Ass.
What
and
is-
I thought he could have set it up, but
What is the character's motivation? Were his parents
He's
like
just-
saved in a dark alley by a policeman, and he really hated his folks?
he mentions he had a traumatizing childhood, but it didn't really go much into that.
Yeah,
or
life sucks.
he was
Get a
robbed
fucking
of his
helmet.
childhood, is what he said.
Wait, you mean Millar was lacking in character development? I don't believe
Yeah.
it.
Well, the dialogue is just so immature, and it's like he puts unnecessary expletives anywhere he can in the dialogue, and then the gore is just excessive.
Do any of the
and
characters
doesn't help with the plot at all?
Do any of the characters say abracadabra?
Oh my God! Is there a new catchphrase?
I know. I think
being
it's
born?
gonna be
Hey, no more catchphrase. No more catchphrases
Oh, is
or
that
running jokes.
The Leon rule.
That
for
is the
new
Leon
thing?
rule.
That's a
Okay.
suck rule.
Sorry.
We got ourselves
a running
another
joke never knows when to
Leon
stop
rule.
Leon, to you I say abracadabra.
See, were you trying to make him do it? Is that what you wanted? Because look what you got now.
I'm just wondering how many times I can fit it into this podcast.
How are we gonna
alone.
sell
Oh, you
T-shirts?
you should fit it in as often as you can because it's your last one.
It's gonna be like new fan art of Rosie McDonald from that like television movie she did as a retarded girl saying Rosie McDonald on the next Leon.
Gotta tell you, that's when I quit the league. And there will be bloodshed on my way out.
That's cool. We can replace you with Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Now, about that one last thing about the Nemesis, did they have on the? I saw an ad for it, and it looked like it was the actual cover that said "makes Kick-Ass look like shit" right
Yeah,
on the.
it
That's
does.
awesome.
And
Makes my upcoming movie adaptation look like a big pile of excrement.
yeah, he just ripped on his previous work, which was huge, and
Dude, you're back
and
on
for something
yourself.
that wasn't that great. I mean, I guess he's all about the sales promotion techniques, but it just
Mark
didn't
Millar,
deliver.
that's his big thing, is all hyperbole, and I'm so great, and this is going to be huge.
This is going to be shocking.
But with a Scottish accent.
I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
say he is Scottish, so
Okay.
he was probably drunk the whole time.
Great. Yeah, I mean, he's able to put in the shock value, and it seemed like there was a time when he could have shock value in a lot of substance or things that are like, wow, it's really smart. But as far as him like staying on time on a book or having a good ending. Like at that time when he had the 4 books going, the Old Man Logan and 1984 and Kick-Ass, 1985. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fantastic Four. The ending on 1984 was like, well, this is okay. The ending on all the other 3 books was awful.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's going to be bringing in the Punisher into the new Ultimates.
Sure, why
as
not?
a character as one of the new Ultimates.
I mean, and his
really
return,
the Punisher is a member of the alternate universe Avengers.
They haven't said yes, but it sure looks that way from what he's doing.
His return to the Ultimates.
Covers,
okay, it's better than Jeff Loeb, but that's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, one more comic book I know, at least one more, want to talk about is X-Men Second Coming.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't read this.
It was good. Yeah. It was surprisingly good.
They were sold out at the comic store. Yeah. Of course, they underordered.
Yeah.
Probably on purpose.
Yeah. Well, it's the story of that was set up during it was a couple of months ago. I can't remember the name of the story exactly.
During that other
Messiah
big
Complex,
X-Men event that you didn't read.
Yeah. Messiah Complex, yeah, where, as many of you know, when Scarlet Witch said no more mutants, it reduced the mutant population down to like 187 or something like that. And but then, strangely, months later, there was a mutant birth and of a girl. In Alaska or something like that.
With 2 vaginas.
Yes.
Dude, Sarah Palin's a mutant?
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I knew Sarah Palin was a mutant.
Cable takes her into the future to protect her and raise her and everything, which sounds like a great idea.
It's worked out
that always goes
really,
well.
when you look at the entirety of the X-Men, who is more nurturing and loving of a father figure than Cable?
Right. Who has his own daddy issues after his dad gave him up to some futuristic chick in a portal on the moon. Anyway, I digress. So
he figures he's learning.
Will somebody please call Child Protective Services on Professor Xavier? Jesus Christ.
They've made a lot of mistakes in the past. They're the first to admit it. But they've learned from those now. I mean, who better to protect a child than these guys at this point?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All I can think about is a rat bit my sister Nell and Whitey's on the moon. Her legs and arm begin to swell and Whitey's on the moon.
So how old is Cable at this point?
He's like ancient, and she aged, and she's back, and so it's actually, here's where it gets good. Cyclops goes into full-on military badass mode and says, all right, we've got to protect her and get to her at all costs. And that's really what it is. And then there's the whole breakdown of the other X-Men, the other brighter, shinier X-Men like Nightcrawler, finding out about X-Force and Cyclops' Kill Squad. So that starts kind of breaking down.
So Cyclops put together a Black Ops team.
Yeah.
Because that's what Scott would do.
Well, wasn't he part of X-Force or X-Factor, whatever the other?
The funny thing is they'll spawn new
was.
X teams, but they just keep using the same names over and over.
Yeah, no one will guess this was us.
Right, yeah.
Here's a hint: don't put X in the name, and maybe they'll figure out that you're not.
Now you're facing Extreme. Wait, are you guys mutants? Damn it! How'd you guess?
No, we're snowboarders.
Well, now, Jason,
it's like Power Pack.
Oh my God, you guys are all douchebags.
Jason, X-Force, I mean, I know they're, the Black Ops team, but exactly what kind of missions were they sent to do?
They were supposed to be a proactive hit squad. Cyclops would basically point out, okay, this guy's getting to be trouble, go kill him. That kind of thing. I haven't read a lot of them, but
that really is the essence of Professor X's message.
That's part of the story.
As much as Professor X has faked his death and dicked them over, it's about
true
time to abandon those principles.
Jason, I'm curious about, because I haven't read the X-Men in forever. So what's the transfer point psychologically for Scott where he goes, okay, it is okay to start killing people?
Listen, we're down to only 180 of us. That's like.
So it's desperate war.
It really is, and they say that. I mean, he's a guy making,
and they're not going to give us casinos.
Yeah, he's a guy making hard decisions, and one of the X-Men died, just some supporting character, recently, and. Big
fucking deal, man. The X-Men have been dropping like flies since like 1982.
Well, when there's only
there are
only 180
okay,
of them.
There we go. All right.
That's what they were saying. And then
that was the last straw.
Cyclops was like, yeah, and that's also like 1% of us. That's like 100 million humans dying.
No, you know what? Under those circumstances, and if someone is actively trying a genocide the rest of the mutants, then I could totally see him saying, you know what, at this point you have to look at reality and go, yeah, this is war. And,
it's a great branch off from what's been going on with the Utopia thing and Uncanny X-Men, and it's with them trying to build the society off the coast of San Francisco, and they've got like Namor has shepherded
so
his people.
he has decided to own the fact that he's a mutant now.
Yes, he finally, and it actually played off.
Oh
really
wow,
well.
it's just like my Uncle Bill when he decided to own his and moved to San Francisco.
It is funny that
never mind.
like the mutants have been a metaphor for gay for so long.
Wait,
and
what?
Now they decided to just
What?
go ahead and move to San Francisco. They're like
Some of
metaphor.
them. Only the ones that can hide their mutant powers are metaphors for gay. The rest are metaphors for black.
Oh, that's true.
Just see the big like opening scene of the Namor miniseries, all dark in the spotlight on stage. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
And now Namor is assisting them with his superpower of being an extreme fucking pain in the ass.
And he totally is. And that's one of the lines in Second Coming is they're like, okay, we need Namor to stay here and guard the island.
Annoy everybody a lot.
And
no one tells Namor what to do.
That's the
Imperious Rex.
Yeah.
Okay,
Emma
you can
Frost
stop saying that after every sentence.
Emma Frost says, Scott, he's not going to like that shit. Tell him he's the strongest one we've got, and we need him here to save all of us.
Can we just hire Ben Grimm to momentarily kick the crap out of him every 5 minutes?
Oh, that would be awesome.
If you say Avenging Sun one more fucking time, I'm going to deck your lights out.
It's cock goblin time. Oh, sorry.
I don't know about you guys, but like as a kid, I found Namor extremely annoying. And
I hated him.
Yeah.
But now I think he's awesome. Like he just cracks me up.
Yeah, me too. He's like this boorish Larry David character.
I really do want. I'm just like, there's Zachary Quinto, and here's a green Speedo. Let's go, people.
Let's do
Come
this.
on, let's fucking do this.
I love
It will be so amusing.
the
I wanna
relationship
take
with
that
him and
out
Dr.
as-
Doom is awesome right now.
I want to take that little clip out of you saying that and have it as my ringtone, because out of context, that is a fucked up comment right there.
Yeah, it is.
Here's Zachary Quinto in a green Speedo.
Technically, it's not that all, out of context of what we've been saying.
In other news,
Yeah.
It's raining X-Men.
We will soon be
Hallelujah.
having Leog ringtones available at a black market website near you.
Once Greg writes a theme song.
And once we get a few more catchphrases.
Sure. Yeah. People at work and suddenly werewolf, 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 werewolf. Oh, it's my mom calling.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
What about that Dazzler comic coming out, huh?
do you want to talk about
Why is
that?
a Dazzler comic speckled with blood? That does not make any sense.
Why does
She
Dazzler look like
fights
Tia
Dr.
Tequila?
Doom? What is it? Is it like a 2-page issue?
No,
No,
it's just
here's
like,
some lights.
will you stop with the fucking edgy? It's Dazzler, for Christ's sake.
always-
Dazzler is not bloody.
I've
Even the
always wanted
punk,
to hear Dr. Doom go, bitch, please.
yeah, even the punk rock Dazzler from the Ultimate Universe is like, no, sorry, he's still retarded.
If
Oh, they
you
made a
want,
punk rock
if you
in the
want to
Ultimate
make
Universe?
it,
Yeah.
if you want to make Dazzler interesting, fucking have her make a video with Lady Gaga, okay? I'll fucking watch that.
Well, I think it just made her Lady Gaga. I mean, that
Exactly.
seems to be the point here.
I'm done.
Trying to stay relevant. Keep on trucking.
Keep on going.
Now,
You using keep on trucking, that's relevant.
keep on trucking is much more relevant than trying to turn Dazzler to Lady Gaga.
Probably not though. Actually,
What's got more longevity?
I get your point.
Hey,
but yeah,
I
probably
said
not.
keep on trucking. You guys know what I'm talking. Not only do you know what I'm talking about, but the moment I said it, you imagine that Robert Crumb drawing with a guy with his legs
Yes.
extended out, right?
Yeah, but we know who Dazzler is too. So.
No, compared to Lady Gaga. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, Lady Gaga can go fuck herself, and she's probably physically capable of it. So, just saying.
Wow.
Penis.
Now we
And
go.
if she was singing a song while she was doing it, I would fucking watch that video.
I've got no appeal to me whatsoever.
Of course
Sorry. Yes, because I'm lame. Is that it, Beau? Thank you for pointing that out. I'm so glad that your superior musical taste managed to enter the show.
No,
Thank
it's just because you're so straight.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to suck a cock as much as the next
universe
guy,
is this
but-
podcast taking place in? Cyrus
Man,
is so
we
straight.
are really gonna have to get girls back in here if it's gonna devolve into
Oh,
this.
what's going on?
I would like to see some boobies right now, but that's just.
Well, me too. But before we do that, I think it's time for a very special segment called "Allow Me to Retort."
Oh, good Lord! How am I further alienating our audience?
This is a very special episode because you brought something up in the comments that we couldn't talk about last week, which was the death of Dick Giordano.
Yes,
one of the greatest inkers of all time, and once the editor-in-chief of DC Comics.
Yeah.
And I just thought you might want to have a moment.
I would.